Hello and welcome to Canvas, the Niger Delta Roundtable, where I discuss the future of our region blessed with hydrocarbon resources. Every week, give some time to reflect on topics relevant to the development of the Niger Delta and the people. This episode, no different. I'm here once again, and we're focusing on how to take our region to a more promising future. Now, this podcast is sponsored by the operator of the NNPC, Renaissance Total Energies Archive Joint Venture, Renaissance Africa Energy Company Limited, headquartered in Port Harcourt. Many thanks for joining. I'm Adedayo Ilushakin. A topic for this episode is Beyond the Bottle, from oil to innovation. Now, today's episode is a story of transformation, not just of a business, but of a mindset. It's about what happens when a young entrepreneur dares to look beyond the obvious, beyond the bottle of oil, and sees the potential to build something bigger, something bolder. Now, we're revisiting a familiar voice. Yep, familiar. Someone who first joined us on Canvas in 2020, sharing his early journey as the founder of Buy Nada Foods. Since then, his story has evolved into one of remarkable growth, resilience, and innovation. From producing palm oil to fabricating agro machines, he's not just building a business, he's building solutions, creating jobs, and inspiring a generation of Niger Delta youth. This episode is about the power of local innovation, the courage to expand, and the impact of entrepreneurship rooted in community. It's about going beyond the bottle and into the future. Again, today, our topic on Canvas is Beyond the Bottle, from oil to innovation, and my guest is Barry Victor Yowika. Barry Yowika is CEO, Buy Nada Foods Limited, producers of Buy Nada Palm Oil. He's CEO, Buy Nada Fabrications, fabricators of agro-processing machines like palm oil, palm kernel oil, and cassava processing machines, including installation and training. Is CEO, Buy Nada Table Water, and Buy Nada Logistics. A graduate of Digital System Security from University of Wollongong, Australia, a native of Kono Town in Kana local government area, Rivers State, Nigeria. Barry Yowika, hello, welcome once again to Canvas, the Niger Delta Roundtable.
Thank you very much, Dayo. Thank you for having me.
I am excited to have you here, really I am. But before we get into, the crux of our conversation and why I'm excited today, how do you pronounce that place in Australia?
Wollongong.
Oh, so did I get it right?
You did.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. So I mentioned earlier, I'm excited to have you here. It was 2020?
Yes, 2020.
And then we didn't have the podcast then.
Yes.
It was Canvas was...
Niger Delta Roundtable.
Yeah, it was strictly the live radio format at the time.
Yes.
I was on radio at the time.
Yes.
And we had in the studio, and it wasn't for me, and I think it was for you as well. Yeah. It was an interesting conversation. I was inspired by it, by your story, by your journey. And I know for a fact that many other persons were inspired by the things you had to say that day. And that journey has continued to now, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
Right. But before we go into that journey and what's happening now, security systems, Australia, what's that about?
Digital system security.
Yeah.
It's like what we're having now. Your phones are being unlocked with your face, your finger. That's what I studied.
So, digital system security systems.
Yes.
Okay. And then palm oil. What's the connection? What's the connection?
Well, when I came back from school, back to Nigeria, my course of study as at then was something people were not very used to around here. So it was quite difficult for me to get a job. So I decided to create one. That was what actually took me into palm oil.
It's not every day that I hear a person say, I couldn't get a job, and I decided to create one. What goes on in your head, really, when you have these thoughts and you say these things, and you don't just think it and say it, you actually act on it. What's your process like? For someone who doesn't understand, what goes on in Barry's mind when he thinks these things?
Well, I'm the kind of person that if I want to do something, I'd like to do something that will last for a while, that will last for as long as it can, and also something that is impactful, right? So when I looked at I did a couple of businesses before I started palm oil. But when I looked at all what was involved in all of those businesses I was doing, I realized that palm oil is something I can grow. Now, taking maybe an instance with Malaysia, which is one of the places I also lived at the time. Malaysia, their entire country is run on palm oil, what they get from palm oil, little from crude oil. So if a country itself can be doing very well on palm oil, how much more an individual? So that was when I decided to build something from the palm oil industry, because as at then, Nigeria, they had a lot of problems in the palm oil industry, especially the problem of adulterated palm oil, which is one of the things we have been tackling to date. Even the problem of ill-processed palm oil, palm oil being processed in, will I say, dirty environment, per se, because that's actually what is making our palm oil not to be easily accepted abroad because of the manner in which it is being processed. The conditions where they are processing it is not very conducive at all.
Let's touch on that for just a moment.
Okay.
Before we get into some of the questions I planned to ask you for this conversation. You talked about adulterated palm oil.
Yes.
How does one, or whoever does that, the people who do that, how do they adulterate palm oil?
They use chemicals to adulterate palm oil. Chemicals are very cancerous, very harmful to the human health. Like, I'll give you an instance of one of the chemicals they use. They call it anatol dye, or Solvay 21 red. Now, those chemicals are chemicals used in plastic industries. Those are chemicals used in turning your plastic. When you see a red plastic now, what the dye they use in turning that to be red, because you can have red, blue, any color, but that one that makes it to be red is what they use in adulterating palm oil, which is not good at all, very harmful and cancerous. And if you look in our hospitals today, you have a lot of cancer patients littered in most hospitals. If you look at it, one of the root causes is palm oil, because palm oil is what we consume almost on daily basis. And you can't be eating something laced with such chemicals on daily basis, and you don't expect somehow your system to break down over time.
For this unscrupulous person I'm not even sure unscrupulous is a good enough word to use. But the people who do this, why do they do it?
First, there is a deficit, which is one of the problems we are solving, which is the deficit of demand. Demand is higher than supply. That is one. And then two, they want to make money. Just to make money, to maximize profits at the expense of the consumers. So why I say demand is this, let me paint a scenario for you. You're selling palm oil, and to an extent, you don't have that integrity. Now, somebody comes to you to ask you for 20 kegs, and you have about 5, right? Not everybody will tell you, oh, I have just 5. Pay me for 5 and go. They could tell you, go and come back. I'll get the 20 for you. When you go, they will mix that 5 to either get 10 or 15, depending on how religious they are.
Really?
Let me just put it like that. Because there are some people that will mix it in such a way that once you touch it, you will just know this is chemical. Some people still try to make it still look as though it's still palm oil, but it's still chemical. So that's why I said depending on how religious they are.
Wow, that's terrible. You also mentioned ill-produced,
yes,
or ill-processed.
Yes. If you remember, there was a video that went viral one time where a lady was seen processing palm oil. She was inside the pit where she was trampling on the digested fruit or the mashed fruit just to make it bring out oil. Now, when I opened the comment section on that particular post, I was seeing a whole lot of things like, what if she's sweating? What if she's on her period? And all of that. Then some people you were still seeing comments like, this is how we do it now. It's common now. It's normal, right? We have commonized something that is not good at all, which is one of the problems we are solving, right? Because most of these people, they don't even know that most of these machines that is used in processing exist. So we are bringing it to the knowledge of those that can afford that these machines exist. And for those people that can afford, we're also working on something for them too.
We'll get to that,
Yes.
all of that,
Yes.
those details in a moment.
Yes.
But once again, you first appeared on Canvas when I was a live video program in 2020. Let's go back to the year 2020.
Okay.
What was life and business like when you first appeared on Canvas back then?
Anything you're starting new, or as at then, 2020 was just almost 2 years. I was almost 2 years into the business then. It has never been easy. It's never easy, especially from the beginning stage. So, but one thing I always have in mind is that determination, consistency is what you need, embedded in integrity. Once you have all of these things, any challenges that come, definitely you will overcome it, except you don't have that determination to do what you want to do or to achieve what you want to achieve.
Now, I know you mentioned earlier that you didn't, you came back from your studies in Australia, you tried to get a job, it wasn't happening, you decided to create one. You could have gone any number of ways. I'm guessing it didn't, it didn't have to be palm oil. It's not like someone said, it must be palm oil or nothing else. There are probably several opportunities you could have tapped into. What inspired you to start Binada Foods, particularly, and focus on palm oil? You weren't making sausage rolls, you weren't making biscuits, you weren't making sweets or lollipops or ice cream. Because Banana Foods could have been any of those things as well.
Yes.
So what inspired you to start Banana Foods and focus on palm oil? And what's kept you going, especially through the challenges of those early days?
Okay. At first, I mentioned this when I was on Canvas the last time, that was 2020. I mentioned it that the idea was actually born from a youth program we had in church then, that the topic was about how Nigeria is wasting her resources, not processing crude oil and selling crude oil instead of processing it. So when the whole conversation got, the teachings got to the point where the preacher, my pastor then, was like, this natural resource, you can also look into other natural resources that you can as well process. Instead of just selling it raw like that, you can package it and then make something good out of it. I thought of a couple of other natural resources that I could have maybe dived into, but it wasn't as much as it sank with palm oil, being that I've been in an environment where I saw what palm oil was used for, right? So I decided to build something on palm oil because I know very well that if I'm doing palm oil too, I don't have any kind of regulations that is, making me in the business illegal. So that's why I had to start from there, because there are some businesses that before you start, you must get all the certifications, else you're seen as an illegal person on that line of business. But on palm oil, you can see a lot of persons doing palm oil business. They don't need any certificate. It's when you want to package or you want to export, you now start going for all those regulations to give you the certificates and all of those. So that's actually how, and to a great extent, like I said, a determination and me having a mindset of or a vision of what I wanted. That's been the drive. And at least to the few persons that we had business dealings with or that used our product at the time, they liked what they used. And like I said, we're here to provide solutions. So the part of the solution is actually what made us to keep going. When you see that you're doing something that people appreciate, it's just like they are tapping you on your back, telling you, well done. So the best thing is to keep going. So those little feedbacks, comments, remarks that we're getting, encouragement were the drive that we needed to keep going.
So you got the inspiration from church.
Yes.
A lot of things is happening in our society these days with Nigerians. A lot of resentment. The economy is not smiling. Not great for a lot of Nigerians, and there are even reservations or concerns about what happens in many places that are supposed to give hope and direction, including churches. But it's good to know from your experience that the church still offers hope and direction for lots of people. So do you want to mention the church and your pastor that inspired you at the time? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. My church is Salvation Ministry, and the pastor is David Ibiome. He was the one that was teaching that day. Youth Empowerment 2016, September. I can't forget that date.
I think it's safe to say it changed your life.
Exactly. That was the day I actually knew that, I can do better. Because the teachings that day was about crude oil and the byproducts of crude oil. We've not even done anything with palm oil yet. I've not done anything with palm oil yet. We've not even gotten to the point where we are doing the byproducts. So when I looked at the whole chain and what can be achieved or what can be done, I think it's a good venture. It's a good venture. And that was actually what made me to go into it.
So you also mentioned just a while ago that around you, your environment then, you were seeing palm oil a lot. So what environment are you referring to? Where did you grow up, and what did you see about palm oil around you that made you think, okay, yeah?
Okay, palm oil, like in my place.
Your place being?
Yes, Kono, where I'm from, Ogoni.
Okay.
What palm oil is called is no-canna. No-canna means this oil is our oil. Growing up as a child, my grandmom does the local processing, the one that she uses herself, not for sale. So getting to travel abroad, go to school, see what an economy built on palm oil can be like, and then coming back to see the problem that is also in the palm oil industry here, one can actually see that it was actually, or is a good venture to go into. So that's actually what prompted me to stay on that line.
How has your business grown or evolved since then? Since 2020 or just prior to 2020?
Okay.
And what have been the major milestones or the major turning points in the business along the line?
All right. Like when we started with the vision of solving the problem of adulterated palm oil, like I earlier mentioned, and the problem of ill-processed palm oil, then meeting the needs. But we started up from 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. We saw that we've been covering, but we are not getting the right results that we needed. Now, when you're trying to solve the problem of adulterated palm oil, like I said earlier, you look at what the government, they've been doing through NAFDAC, arresting people that adulterate this palm oil and all of that. To me, I feel that won't solve the problem, because hence the demand is higher than the supply, right? There must be people that will be unscrupulous to still mix to meet up the market demand. So the only way to solve the problem is to make the good product to be readily available. Encourage more persons to come into the business, to come into the production, so that our capacity can increase. If you live only by another foods to do that, we can't achieve that. Take out all the big players in the palm oil industry today. Despite all the big players and all of that, we still can't meet the demands of palm oil, local demands per se, because Nigeria consumes about 2 million metric, demands about 2 million metric tons, but could only produce about 1.5 million. So we have
per annum?
Yes, per annum. So we have a deficit of about 500,000 metric tons that is yet to be met, excluding the international orders. You understand? So if you look at it, the sky is too wide, So I looked at it that the only way we can continue with this problem solving and at least get a good result is to bring in more people, which was where the fabrication now came into play. Now, when I started the fabrication, a lot of people reached out to me. They were like, why are you selling your business idea? Why are you selling your business? I said, I'm not selling my business idea. If I don't say or do this business, people will still find one way or the other to come into the business. So with the kind of vision I have, it would be best I help these people come into the business, share my visions with them. They can go on their own area or their own locality or their own area, run with that vision. And then me on my own part, I'll be like a big brother to them. Because if you want to come into a business and then somebody like pulls you by the hand, walks with you to the point where you can stand on your own, you will never forget that person, which is the role Binada Foods is playing for most of the people we are setting up meals for. So we looked at it that if we can set up more meals for people that are well-to-do, right? Teach them how to process the in a way that meets the quality standards, both locally and internationally. At least that problem of ill processing is being solved. And then when we get more people coming into the business to produce this good palm oil, the market now, when you go to the market, you have more options because you get more oil to choose from. But when you have less oil in the market, all those less oil will be mixed. So it will be difficult for you to see the good one. But when you have more good oil in the market, those people that are mixing oil, gradually they will be taken out of the market. Because that's the strategy that I feel will work better than arresting people. Because if I'm in this location today, you come to arrest us for adulterating palm oil, we can re-strategize and go somewhere else. You understand? To still do the same thing. But if there is a measure put in place where production is done right, people are making these products to be in the market. I mean, the good one to be in the market. Just like the last time you asked me if Binada is in supermarkets and all of that, and I said yes. The same way, from then till now, we have a lot of palm oil brands in the market now, right, that are also good, right? So that's the kind of thing that can easily eliminate this adulterated palm oil, right? So that's the approach we decided to use to tackle that problem.
How does the fabrication part of a business works? Because from what you've described thus far, it seems to me like it's not just fabricating machines and then selling to people. I think it sounds like it's more than that. How does that work?
Okay, for the fabrication, basically we fabricate machines that, will I say, meet those standards of machines that are imported. Because according to, or will I say, there was a time when importing machines into Nigeria was not a big deal, right? Then we now had the times when dollar to naira, the prices of things abroad is still the same $100, for instance. But down here, $100 is not the same figure it used to be before. So that now constrained a lot of people from bringing these machines in. And to me, whenever I see a problem, I just try to think of the solution business-wise that I solve your problem, you pay me, you're happy, I'm happy, right? So I now thought of it that why don't I look at how we can do these machines? Because myself, I've also imported machines from China before. So at least I have an idea and all of that. And I lived in Asia sometimes. So I have a couple of friends in Asia too that at least I can get some information from when needed. So when I looked at the whole thing, I was like, we can as well do this thing here and cut that gap between somebody trying to go all the way to those places to import the machines down, because the constraint is too much. If at all you succeed to import these machines into Nigeria, how about the installation? How about maintenance? What of training? So if you want to factor all of these things in, you see that what you will be spending to start up might discourage you from coming into the business. So we now decided to go into the fabrication, do something that looks or meets the international standard. The same machine you would have gone abroad to import, we are doing it here for you. And then not just doing those machines, we come to install. Because one thing about fabrication is if you trust your job, you should be able to go and install it and test it for the person to see that it's working, right? Then apart from that, we also train you. Because like I said, you process palm oil, right? We have been processing. So we've understood certain things you need to do, right, to get it right. So those are the things we are teaching people in these trainings. So after we install for you, you get us your operators. We train your operators on how to go about these machines, how to use them to maximize the result that is needed. So that's like basically the summary of what we do with the fabrication. We fabricate the machines to meet international standards. We install the machines for you, and then we train your operators. And then it doesn't just end there as well. There's something we are also building currently now. We are building a network of mechanized palm oil producers. Now, our own brand, if you Google Bainada oil or Bainada, you will be shocked at what you see online, right? We've grown our brand to a point where people, both home and abroad, recognizes us and they send us demands, not just small demands, huge demands. Now, we looked at it that if we keep saying no to these demands, at a time, they won't contact us again. So we decided now to increase our capacity. Increasing capacity could lead to you doing expansion or maybe you having another outlet. The funds to do that were not there. So I now thought of it that, okay, I can now encourage those private individuals that probably own plantations. I will make my services open to them that I can help them set up these mills, teach them how to process, and then from there, I bring them to our network where one of the problems with new people that come into business is sales, right? Now, when I bring you to the network, if I get a demand, like the demand we had with the Traders of Africa, at some point, they requested for 10,000 kegs of palm oil. They reduced it to 5,000. They reduced it to 1,000. We couldn't meet up. Now, imagine having set up mills for, let's say, 20 to 50 farmers, and all of these people are under our network. If we get such demands, the only thing we'll do is to just share the information to every member on the network. If this person is bringing their products collectively, before you know it, you can easily meet any demands you have. So that's actually one of the drives that made us to go into the fabrication. So it's not just fabrication. The end goal is to meet demands.
It is Canvas, the Niger Delta Roundtable, brought to you by Barry Nasons, and we've brought him back, Barry Yowika. He was on Canvas in 2020. Fast forward to 2025. Even though he still looks as fresh and as young as he did back then, but is definitely bigger and better right now. More on his journey so far and how he's inspiring a whole nation, if I dare say so, and growing an industry and innovating as well. We'll go for a break right now. To stay with us. Canvas returns in a moment.
In the heart of our journey, where the sun touches the earth and the wind whispers through the trees, a new chapter unfolds. A chapter where energy illuminates more than just bulbs. It lights up minds. A chapter of unity, a coming together with a common goal to energize futures and illuminating lives. In classrooms, young dreams evolve, inspired by the promise of a brighter tomorrow fueled by available energy. Small businesses flourish, becoming seeds of prosperity. Energy that empowers and is catalyst for growth and change. The future is energy. So, let's light up the path to a sustainable future together. Energy for you, me, and the world at large. Energy for people and planet. We are Renaissance.
Welcome back to Canvas, the Niger Delta Roundtable, brought to you by Barry Nasons. I'm Daya. My guest is CEO Bainada Foods, CEO Bainada several other companies. Barry Yowika. Barry, welcome again.
Thank you very much.
From the bottle, Barry is going from not just producing oil, he's innovating, he's growing an industry, he's inspiring a generation, he's employing people, creating jobs. What are you not doing these days, really? Maybe you're not risen to dead yet. Welcome. It's great to have you here again.
Thank you very much.
How do you balance production, innovation, community engagement? Because, maybe when you started, in a manner of speaking, it was from a backyard, but it's grown from a backyard business now. And there are other aspects of growing a business you have to put together. There's production, there's innovating, there's community engagement. How do you deal with all of those?
Anything innovation attracts people. And with what we are doing, right, the palm oil itself, what we started with was, like you said, from the backyard. Now we've grown to the point where we have most of these machines, and to a great extent, that alone attracts people to us, right? Now, balancing it with community engagement, youth, and all of that, we are currently working on something. Like I said earlier, I said people that we encourage to come into the business to set up their meals are the ones that have the means, right? How about those people that don't have the means? They can't be left out. So we are currently working on something too that will include everybody. Now, if you look at what is happening in our societies today, a lot of people are unemployed. Some don't even want to work, right? But what we are trying to do now is we are setting up a training center. We've already had like 2 partners. One is in Edo State, one is in Abia State. Then our own is in River State. So what we are trying to do is set up a training center. Now, in order to reduce the whole unemployment rates and all of that in the country, we want to have more of this training. We have up to 18 palm oil producing states in Nigeria per se. Each of these states, if possible, we would love to have training centers in each of these states. Now, what will these training centers do? Anybody that is interested in knowing how to process palm oil, or just like when you have oil company, they send you to go and learn, like for trainings and all of that before you now come to work. That's something that we are trying to do in the palm oil industry. Before you go to work in any mill, you come to our place for free. You are trained for free. We give you free accommodation just to encourage you to come and do that. And then after you eventually get this knowledge or this skill of how to operate these machines, we have quite a number of mills that we have set up already. So the plan is each of these mills, they are in need of workers at all times, right? So we intend to send these people to each of these mills to fill up the vacancy they have. So what we are doing is to touch both the people that can't afford the machine but are interested in the business. For those persons that are also wanting to get the machines, right? Now, these machines are not machines that are very cheap. And if you look at most of our villages or our environments, the people that do palm oil are always seen like poor people, local people, right?
You don't look poor.
That's because we are doing it from another angle. And that angle is where we are intending to bring people in. Now, what we intend to do is each of these places too, like, I won't say for them, my other partners, I'll talk about myself. We have a place we are trying to secure in River State here, right? Now, that place, what we want to do there is to make it commercial. Commercial, I mean, is you can have a plantation, but you don't have the money to buy these machines for processing. And if you're doing it manually, you're limited to the quantity you can process per time because of the stress involved in the production. So what we intend to do is set up this mill, put these machines there, and then people that are interested in processing their fruits, bring it to process for free. So if you look at it now, if you have money, you set up for you. You don't have money, bring your fruit to our farm. If you don't have money, you don't have fruit, but you want to work, come for training. So that's the area we are trying to touch everybody, both the people that are already in the business and the youth, everybody. So it's something we are currently working on now.
Well, Barry, that's fantastic, really. And I look forward to seeing that materialize. But knowing you and your antecedents is only a matter of time.
Yes.
You mentioned that there are about 18 states that are all palm oil produced in the country.
Yes.
Is River State one of them?
Yes.
Okay. I asked that as a premise to this is where I'm actually going to.
Okay.
Now, before this recording, we spoke and you'd mentioned to me that you I mean, there's the aspect of a business that are still remaining in River State.
Yes.
You're functioning here, you're
Yes.
operating here,
Yes.
but you've kind of moved, or is that the right expression to use? Move, maybe your headquarters or relocated.
Expanded.
Okay, expanded is the
Yes.
word.
Yes.
To the southwest.
Yes.
To
Ibadan, Oyo State.
Oyo State.
Yes.
Why did you move? I want to use the word move. It's expanded, fine. Why that move to Oyo State, Ibadan? Yes.
Okay. When we started the business, like I said earlier, we have the vision of solving the problem of adulterated palm oil and badly processed palm oil. That's the environment palm oil is processed. So we saw all of that we couldn't do all from just this our own facility here. So we now thought of how we can get more people to come into the business. So that was when I started looking at the angle of fabrication. But before I started doing fabrication, I'll tell you of a job I did. I did a job with Federal Amnesty to set up mills for, I think, militants. So, repented militants, per se. So when we set up that mill in Delta State, I did a video casually and I uploaded it online. And after that video went online, I think the video went viral. I had calls from every part of Nigeria requesting that they want the same machine set up. Now, the next question will be, what's the location? I'll tell them, I'm in River State. A lot of them are either in Abuja, they want to set up in their villages, they're in Lagos, they want to set up in their villages, or they're in their village already, maybe in the West, which more of the calls were coming from the West.
From the Southwest?
Yes, from the Southwest. So when I looked at it, I was like, why will I be here, right, when I am seeing a whole lot of prospects out there? Luckily for me, one client paid me to come pay a visit to her farm to see what we can do to improve her system, because she wasn't getting the machines afresh. She already had a system already. So she wanted us to come improve it for her. So she paid us to come. When I went there...
To where exactly?
To Ikperu, that's in Ogun State.
Okay.
So when we went there, saw what was on ground, did the job as well. While I was there, the woman is somebody that is well known. Maybe if I say her name,
except you want to.
Yeah, she's the popular Baba Ijebu, the wife.
Oh.
So she's well known. So she made some calls and very excited about the job we did for her. So she called some people that, this person is here. We did a video too, the job, and posted. Most people that were seeing my post before that I was in River State, they now saw that I'm in Ogun State. A lot of them, some of them were in Lagos, some of them were also in Ogun State, some were in Ibadan. I had a series of meetings that period. Two among those people that contacted me gave me a job on the spot there. I was like, I can't go to River State to do these machines and transport it to Oyo State for them, or to wherever they are, the location. That was when I now started looking out to getting a facility in Ibadan, in the West. And one of the clients was very, will I say, God sent. He paid me 100% my machines with a little extra to encourage me to get a place in Ibadan there. So that was how we were able to raise the capital that we got the property or the facility that we are using for fabrication in Ibadan currently.
I'm sorry if this puts you on the spot, but I want to ask you this question. Where is the bulk of a business coming from right now?
Where is the
bulk of a business coming from right now? Is it River State where you started, or the Southwest, Ibadan, and other such places?
River State is giving everything, but right from time, the market we get for palm oil was never from River State. Okay. Right from time, we were just producing here and distributing to other parts of the country.
So what would you say is the main reason that you're getting all these requests, you're getting all these orders, fabrication, set up here, expand here in Oyo, in Ibadan, the Southwest, and, it seem not to be getting similar traction here in River State? What do you think is mostly responsible for that?
It's just, will I say, the people around here. Farming here is not done on industrial, or will I say large scale. They don't do a lot of large scale farming here. They do the kind of farming done here. You see somebody 5 plot of land, 10 plot of land farming. maybe what they will eat and just a few sales to raise some income. Around the Southwest, the farming is not like that. They do hectares. So such farming, they can never process their farm produce manually. They need the machines, which is the difference with what we have here. You can see somebody go to their cassava farm here, uproot their cassava, go to their houses and peel it themselves because the quantity is not much, right? They fry it themselves. But by the time you have like a 5, 10, 20 hectares of cassava farm, how do you start processing that manually? So you have no other option than to go for these machines. And in the Southwest, they have a lot of, large-scale farmers, people that have vast lands that they are farming on them. So the calls and the demands we were getting for the machines were coming from the West more. That's actually why we had to position ourselves there, just like the sun and the moon. Position yourself well and you will shine.
Positioning. But do we have the potentials? By potentials, I mean even the land and whatever else is needed here in River State, for example.
The land is here, but land is not... the way they take land here is not the way they take it there. First, every land here, will I say, is very valuable. Either it has oil or maybe the price and all of that. You can see, like most of my clients, they tell you they buy per plot 50,000 naira per plot of land. But here, where do you want to see 50,000 naira a plot of land? Maybe if you're seeing it is in the evil forest, where nobody can actually go, So those are the constraints.
Yeah, but outside the cities, outside city center, like Port Harcourt or Biakwa,
they are owned by people.
other places.
They are owned by people.
So why don't those people look in that direction?
That's why I said the people, the interest of the people. Yeah, farming is not the interest of the people around here. The people farming are only the people in the village. You'll be shocked that places like Lagos, you will see somebody living in Lagos, has a very big farm, living a city life, but is a farmer. But around here, you hardly see somebody living a city life and still a farmer. It's difficult. It's only those people that are in the villages, but now it's trying to change because I can tell you for a fact, we've done some jobs for a couple of persons in River State here to set up meals for them. So it's gradually changing, but compared to the Southwest and here, it's not the same.
I'm convinced that you become a huge role model for a lot of young persons in the Niger Delta and beyond as well. I suspect you might even have a huge following of such young persons and even not so young persons as well. I mean, you describe people who might perceive are more advanced than you are,
yes,
who reach out to you as well, and who respect what you do,
yes,
and are in business with you. But focusing on the young persons now, what do you think they would most admire about you and they learn from you and can take from your experience thus far?
Okay, for the ones that, one thing about stuff like this, most people won't tell you. But for the ones that have actually told me what they admire about me, they admire my consistency and my determination. Because those people that knew me when I started palm oil with just 140,000. That was what I started this business with. So those people that actually knew my journey from the cradle, sometimes they would just be like, Omo, you've really tried. I know how, if I were the one, Omo, I can't do it, I can't take this long. You really tried. So whenever they try to do something on their own side, I see them stylishly calling me for advice and all of that because they've seen that, okay, maybe somehow I've gone through that stage where they are now. So they need that encouragement from me. So to a great extent, what I give to them is determination, consistency. But I also tell them to also try as much as possible to build integrity because that's the only thing that can make somebody that haven't seen you before pay you a huge amount of money to do business with you. Once you have that, anybody can do business with you.
What's your message to young entrepreneurs all over the place, but especially here in the Niger Delta? I mean, not trying to put anybody down, but you described that we have a certain perception of farming, for example, in the Niger Delta, even though we have the land and the resource compared to some other parts of the country like the Southwest where you currently operate as well. So for young persons here in the Niger Delta, or young entrepreneurs who are thinking to start out on their own, either in farming or whatever other venture, what would be your message to them?
My message to any young entrepreneur is that whatever it is that you're doing, first, try to be patient with the process. Because that is actually what makes a lot of people not to even see results from what they are doing. You try out something today, after a year you run out. You're not patient with the process. If you're patient with the process, this year makes us 8 years plus doing this business. And there's no way you can do something in 8 years that you will not master it, right? So consistency is what breeds that mastery that one needs to excel in that field of endeavor. So I tell them, be patient with the process, be consistent, be determined, and above all, build integrity. Because integrity is that one quality that will make you stand out anywhere. Even somebody that is a criminal, right, is looking for who they can trust with money. Not just integrity with money. Because somebody pays you for something, maybe product or services, whatever, then they start hearing stories tomorrow. The person won't come back. What I've really built, or we've really built our brand on, is referrals. You remember the last time I told you that we do referrals, to the point where we're even paying referral bonuses. If I'm building a brand, or if we're building a brand that is based on referrals, going to do something ill is going to spoil that already. So that's why I said, build something that is going to be embedded in integrity, so that anytime anybody is saying something about your brand, definitely 100% people will not say good thing about your brand, but let the majority say that this person can be trusted.
What can government, the private sector, and even communities as well do to help grow this industry? You talked about a vast demand and a huge deficit as well. We're not meeting the demands.
Yes.
In spite of your growth, Banana's growth so far, you're still not meeting the demands.
Yes.
And there are other big brands in the industry as well, still not meeting the demands. So there's still a lot of money to be made in this, and jobs to be created as well.
Yes.
So what can we do to grow this in the Niger Delta? Government, private sector, and even communities, especially here in Rivers State?
Okay. When it comes to government presence in anything that is about entrepreneurship, what government does really is to first create an enabling environment, either with policies and all of that. Create an enabling environment and create something that leads to funding. Because if I'm producing, let's say, 1 barrel of oil monthly, if I have the funding, I can expand to be doing 10 a month. So the approach government using over the years for funding of entrepreneurs, to me, I feel is a wrong approach. Now, what approach have they been using? They tend to fund people that are still on the point of idea stage, not people that are already in the business. I take myself as an instance. I've never gotten any business, no government individual or government body has invited me that, oh, this is what you're doing, oh, this is the support we have for you, oh, this, nothing. But you see some programs where you see, okay, you have this idea, you want to fund this entrepreneur. Now they give grants, they give loans to people that their idea is still, whatever business idea they have is still in their head. They've not implemented it. There's a difference between me having an idea in my head and me already running it. It's two different things. The person that is already running it will appreciate that support or that funding more than who is just having an idea in their head. Because one thing is having an idea, another thing is making it work. So I would have said the government should change the pattern or the approach they use in terms of supporting entrepreneurs financially. Let them look into people that are already
But we have Bank of Industry, we have Bank of Agriculture.
Is the process easy? I tried it before. The process is not easy. Ask anybody that has gone there before. The processes are not easy, right? So those are the things that we are talking about. You want to give me money. Why do you stress me? Right? You're giving me money. You're supposed to be helping me, but you're stressing me to give me that money. I tried my best. I won't even lie. I just stopped. Because the whole thing was becoming too much. I need money from you, but the money I need to get the money is something I can't even afford, because I need to do documents, I need to prepare this, I need to do this. All of those things, and to me, is not necessary. If I tell you I'm doing something, all you need to do is, first of all, come to my facility. You should have your own team. Come and know if truly this is what I said I'm doing. From there, you look at my documentation to my business. Are those satisfied? If it's satisfied, then you go ahead with the process. Not telling me, bring this document, bring these things that are, to me, is not necessary. But just to make the whole process cumbersome. And
Private sector, communities.
yes, now, private sectors now can actually come in by putting in, like, will I say, trying to do these businesses, like what you said now. We have a lot of people that have money in River State, but farming, they look at farming like something for the poor. Let private individuals come into farming, right? Let them come into farming. I started palm oil, I didn't have a plantation. So it's not a must you have a plantation for you to own a palm oil factory, right? Or a palm kernel oil factory, or a cassava mill. It's not a must you have these plantations. You can start up with just setting up the factory. People can come, you buy the raw materials from farmers and you start processing. From there, you can own your own. So private individuals should also look into that. And then for the youth, let them try to work. Let them try to want to work, because a lot of youths nowadays are not ready to work anymore. So those are the areas I feel, if things are done well, we'll get better results.
Finally, Barry, what legacy are you hoping to build? Your business, your community, your region?
The only legacy I'm keen on building is the legacy of believing that one can start up small and grow very big, more than even your own lives. My expectation, you, the individual involved. That's the legacy I want to leave down for people. And not just starting small and growing bigger, but starting something legit small. Because our society nowadays is, will I say, celebrating illegality. So I will encourage more persons to look into doing something that is legit and trying to start small. Because a lot of young people, when you hear them talk about business idea, oh, I wish I get 10 million now, 20 million now. Oh, God, that your 100K, that your 200K, you can use it to start something, no matter how small. It's easier for somebody to assist you when they see that you're doing something, not when the thing is still an idea in your head, right? I'm telling you now, oh, Dayo, I just started this project, or I've done this, this is what is left for me to do. Please, I need you to come in either as an investor or assistant, and it will make sense to you. It's either maybe you don't have it to do or you're not interested. But if I come to you that, Dayo, you see this idea where I get for it, and if I do it will blow, it will do this, it will do that. It's still an idea. You might just look at that, maybe this guy is feeling excited. That's why he's just talking, right? You won't take it as serious as it would have been when I'm already implementing it. So I encourage young people to try to start whatever vision, whatever business idea they have. Let them try to start small.
Barry, it's been wonderful.
Thank you.
So I've had a conversation with Barry Yowika, CEO, Banana Foods, CEO, Banana Fabrication, CEO, Banana Logistics, maybe very soon, CEO, Banana Airlines.
Amen.
It's been great talking with you.
Thank you very much.
From producing palm oil in your quote-unquote backyard,
yes.
You're supplying a whole region, the whole nation, and even the rest of the world as well.
Yes.
Congratulations. Thank you for being an inspiration
Thank you very much
to many people, and wish you the very best.
Thank you very much, Daya. Thank you. It's a pleasure here. Thank you.
And that's a wrap on this edition of Canvas in Niger Delta Roundtable. Remember, be smart, be like Barry. And Dayo Olushagi. Thanks for watching and listening. Bye for now.